Good evening, everybody, and again, welcome to tonight's third and final call on this teleclass series that we've had this month, which is Attraction Marketing. My name is Wendy Lovejoy, and I'm the Marketing Director of GaREIA, but I want to give it back to the Executive Director, Karen Yap, because so much goes on at GaREIA, and the more I work around her, the more I see how much she really does to make things happen. So I really want to give it back to her, and also to the president of GaREIA, Mike Jacobson, because they're allowing so much untraditional trainings just to bring to the community of GaREIA whatever they need to have success as a real estate investor. So it takes more than just saying to yourself, I want to become a real estate investor. There's so much that goes into it. And this is why one of the things you're taught at GaREIA is to build your team. And hopefully after hearing tonight's call, you're going to say, these are people I want on my team for different reasons. But we started off the first call, and if you missed any of the teleclasses, you can go to the GaREIA YouTube channel and become a subscriber, and you can listen to the last calls and watch videos that go with them. You can also check your emails. You get the 7-day forecast. Please read through it, because in there you will see the calls that you've missed, the links and the replays. Very important information. I meet people that tell me they listened to a call a couple of months ago and something just clicked now for them. So this is consistent training, and I really am so excited that GaREIA has the mindset to bring you trainings over the phone, so you don't, if you can't make it into the office, you're still getting pieces that are taking your business to the next level. So the first thing that we talked about earlier this month is, why did you decide to become a real estate investor? What is your why? What is your purpose? Who do you want to help? Why do you want to help that group? Because remember, as a real estate investor, you can focus on wholesaling, you can focus on flipping, and you can become a landlord. We've had an amazing couple of boot camps. There's one coming up in a few months, and we've had some amazing presenters at the boot camp even share on teleclasses. Then last week, we talked about networking. It's so important to learn why you got into real estate investing, to have your 30-second or your 1-minute commercial, which pretty much tells your story. The best way to have success is to be able to tell your story in less than a minute or a second. And if you were at the general meeting on Monday, you saw Anissa and myself role play how to get somebody's business card out, standing there for an hour talking to one person. At a networking event, you want to collect as many cards as possible, share as little but enough information of yourself and get more information on the person you're speaking with, and then set up an appointment to call them back, or at least let them know you're going to add them to your email list, or you're going to give them a call back. There's so many layers to running your business professionally and automating it that you want to keep putting these systems in place. And what's going to happen is you will be making money. The greatest feeling is when your Facebook page and somebody is saying, I want to work with you, or somebody on LinkedIn, or even Google Plus, or your YouTube channel, and people are reaching out to you because you have sent out a crystal clear message. That is what attraction marketing is all about. So we touched a little bit on Facebook. If you come out on May 3rd, because these calls are just meant to give you a little bit of information, otherwise you'll be on the phone all night. If you come out to the Super Saturday on May 3rd at the main office, the headquarters of GaREIA, I will be doing the Super Saturday, and it's going to be about your marketing makeover for your business. I'm actually going to be looking at people's individual websites and social media and telling them, giving them some advice of how to get from where they are to where they want to go. Because sometimes people, I had a conversation with a gentleman earlier today, and I'm hoping he's on the call, but he thought he needed one team, but he really needed another team because he hadn't put the basics in place yet. So you want to automate your business. You want to learn the things you like to do in real estate. And sometimes you come into the business focusing on one thing and you end up doing another. Now, if you're asking yourself, well, why should I listen to Wendy? Number one, I was a member of GaREIA like in the mid-2000s when real estate was booming. And because of the trainings and coming to GaREIA, I learned so much about flipping. I learned so much about buying and holding. And I learned a lot about landlording and dealing with Section 8. And I decided to go and become a person who flipped a lot of properties. I also did some commercial real estate. And all of this was not only my real estate experience as a broker in the New York area, but I learned so much by being around other investors. I learned tricks. I learned shortcuts. And I built a really great business, and we all know what happened with the market. So like myself, a few people, we left GaREIA and we came back, and now we're looking to redo or come up with a different game plan. And one of the things that I was able to keep mastering in whatever business I did was marketing. So I wanted to make sure that that was information that I shared with people that want to run their business like a business. And so tonight we're going to be talking about your website, and we're going to be talking about your email list. A lot of people, I hear a lot about the yellow letter and mail outs. I really think it's more important to get people finding you as opposed to you constantly trying to find people. Of course, you want to do everything. If you were on the call last time, I went over the different parts of your marketing. It's not one thing. You can't just do Facebook. You can't just do LinkedIn. You can't just show up to everything at GaREIA. You want to figure out, am I going to be a wholesaler, and then go to the classes that pertain to that. And when you come out, it's a beautiful family feeling at GaREIA. It really is. You can feel like you can just pull up a couch and snuggle up and live there forever. People like Karen make you feel so comfortable. And that's a good thing. But you want to also remember you're there for business. So you want to make connections, and you want to have an agenda of what you want to accomplish. You might go to a meeting and say, I want to figure out how to buy at the courthouse. Or maybe you want to figure out how to go to the courthouse and look up list pendants for yourself. Have a mindset. Always have what you're trying to get before you get there, okay? It's so important. And then have something you want to drive people to. It's not enough anymore to just say to people, here's my business card. You also have to say, look me up on Facebook. Here's my social media site, or connect with me on LinkedIn, or, join my Google group, or what have you. You got to be able to drive them somewhere. And when you drive them to these places, you want to make it look as professionally as possible. I can't say this enough. Whether you are looking to wholesale, flip, or whatever it is, make your page tell your story and what you're trying to accomplish, and you still have to market it. Your Facebook page should be like a mini website. I've often said to everybody, go look at my Facebook page. Wendy Lovejoy Business Bootcamp is one. And the reason I say that is you'll see all the little bells and whistles you should have on your Facebook page. One, of course, your bio. You should have a nice profile picture. You should, on your header, you should have a really nice picture of real estate or whatever it is that you're trying to get across. If you have a great business name, you want to put it up there. And you want to have a photo album. Don't just waste your photo album by only putting pictures of everything you take. You want to have testimonials of people you've worked with. If you're brand new to real estate investing and you had success somewhere else, you want to share that information. Share the information that you had, that again, the successes you had elsewhere. Get a few people to write testimonials about you. I worked with Mary Smith, and she was great. She was very supportive. She was a leader. That's a great testimonial. Put that on your photo album. Create a photo album that is only of testimonials. The other thing you really have to have nowadays is you got to be collecting information. One of the best ways to build your email list, besides buying it, and I've tried that route, the thing with that route is when people realize that you have nothing in common with them, they drop out of your email list anyway. So to me, it's a waste of money and a waste of time. If you put in the same effort of when you go out, you collect people's business cards and you add them to an email list. You also want, when people go to your Facebook page or your website, there is a place there that says join my list or get my newsletter, anything like that, or get a free copy of. And when they click on a specific link, you have name, address, phone number, whatever information you're looking for, email address, and you add like 3 questions of whatever your agenda is. I always say the way to know what questions to ask is to know what answers you're looking for. So if you're looking for people to say to you, I want some wholesaling deals, I would ask a question like, how many wholesale deals are you looking to do this month? Something like that. And then that will give you an idea. If you're looking to flip, I would ask a question of, are you familiar with flipping, or is flipping of an interest? You always ask the question to get the answer you're looking for. 3 questions is enough. And the goal is to build an email list. In the beginning, a lot of things are free for your first 30 days, but then after a while, companies where you can collect people's email lists, Constant Contact, AWeber, there's so many of them. A lot of them have free 30 days, and then they charge you a few dollars after that. In the beginning, I say to people, you want to set up your systems correctly so that you don't have to come back and replace them. Very, very important that your website is automated. If somebody goes to your website, they should know your story. They should know how to navigate through your website. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, your website is your brochure. It's your marketing piece. It should speak for you without you having to speak to people. A lot of times when I'm talking to people, I can say to them, go to my website, and after you look at my website, then let's conversate. You know, it gets you to have to talk less. It also lends credibility. It shows your professionalism. And when people are Googling for certain information, they can find your website. It just really lends to being seen as more professional. Now, when you have a website, it doesn't mean that you're never going to have to go out and work. We had a conversation, Karen, Kevin of Dealmakers, and Angela, some of the people that are members of GaREIA. We had a conversation today, and one of the things we were talking about is that a lot of people get into real estate investing, and I have to say even multi-level marketing, and they think they're going to get rich overnight. But you have to create systems. And I always say, if it took you 40 hours a week at your regular job to make $500 or $1,000, how can you expect to make $10,000 in real estate investing by only putting in 20 minutes or only showing up to one meeting? You want to come, get a feel of GaREIA, come get the information. In the beginning, I had a conversation with a couple of people that were on the call and just asked, well, what made you come to the call? And one of the young ladies said, for information. So it's great that you get the email and you say, okay, I'm going to get on this call. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to learn what you need to learn and get as much information. However, you still want to be the person that has that take charge attitude. And when you get one thing on a conference call like this, you say, you know what, I like what I heard, I'm going to implement it. Or I'm going to go over to GaREIA and see what's the next step. Or I'm going to check out the website. Or I'm going to go to the GaREIA Facebook page and I'm going to make sure that, I like the page and I'm in the community. You want to hang out in the community of GaREIA, whether it's in person, it's on social media, but you want to be in that community so not only do you get to know people, but they get to know you and what you're looking for. If nobody knows that you're a wholesaler or you only tell 2 or 3 people, you're not going to make too much money in your real estate career. You want to get to the point where even with wholesaling, you can make a couple of $1,000s and never, ever have to take control and own the property and buy it right out, But you also can make a couple of $1,000 to more than that. But if you want to do it consistently, having these systems in place will help you. So again, you want to make sure you have a good website. And your website should tell who you are. But more than that, it should tell who you help. And the people you help should talk about you and say, yes, this person, was great to work with. If you've done one deal, put that deal on your website. And then share some other credible things about yourself. If you want to share your education, again, your website should really speak about who you are, but it shouldn't just speak about you. Some people take their website and they make it like an ad for themselves. That is not as good as having your past clientele, your relationships. You believe it or not, even if your mom said something great about you, that is a great testimony. We all know that some people don't have the greatest relationships with their own parent, but to have your parents say, this is a good person, and this is the great thing about that person, you may say, well, what does that have to do with real estate? The thing is, whatever business you're in, it's a people business, and the more people feel that you're a caring person and it's authentic, not that you're making it up, but it's authentic, the more sales you'll get without becoming a salesperson. It just comes up in conversation. And people, whenever they think real estate, investing, wholesaling, if that's what you want to do, will think of you. If you want to flip, they'll think of you there. So again, that's what you want to do. Make sure your website speaks about you. Make sure that your website is collecting information, your Facebook page. A lot of people get on Facebook, and to me, it's like the least expensive way to create a great website is to make your Facebook page work for you and collect people's emails. You can have some amazing conversations on social media and amazing conversations through your website. The other thing you want on your website is a blog page. You want to add a blog page. It is free to add a blog page. And you can share whatever information you want about what you're looking to do. If you want to talk about wholesaling, there's so many great articles at GaREIA. You can share something that you came out to a meeting and learned about, but it puts your name out there. And once you have a few blog posts, when people start looking for whatever topic you're speaking on or writing about, if you hashtag it, your blog post will show up. Your article will show up. I don't want to give you too much tonight. As I said, when you come out to May 3rd, I'm going to share with you exactly how to take a blog and make it go viral. And some of it is free, and some of it can cost you as little as $50 a month. But I look at it as an investment, because the more you put your name out there, the more credible your name is, the more you're seen as a celebrity in whatever you do, the more people will come to you and you won't have to chase. Now, some people think, well, I haven't done a real estate deal yet, so why do I need this? You need this because especially if you want to wholesale, because in real estate investing, it's a numbers game. And the more people that know you, the smaller numbers you have to work with. In the beginning, you might have to do 100 letters, mail out 100 flyers to get 3 people to say I'm interested, to get 1 person to say, okay, I'll be ready next month. But if you were doing the whole marketing pie that I'm going to share with you when you come out on May 3rd, the better it's going to be. Now, tonight, though, we're going to have an amazing meeting on Monday night. I already have a few people said, I am coming out. It's one of the great things GaREIA has allowed us to do is to spotlight a multi-level marketing systems, because Robert Kiyosaki says if he were to do it all over again, he would do multi-level marketing. John Maxwell, all of them kind of co-sign multi-level marketing because it's the quickest way to start a business and to get some cash flow so you can invest in your real estate. And this particular multi-level marketing platform that we're going to be sharing on Monday is perfect for a real estate investor. And what I'd like to do at this point, I have an amazing gentleman on this call. A few years ago, we didn't know each other. I met him in Columbus, Georgia, as I was out there building out this company called 5 Links in Columbus, Georgia. And this gentleman, he took it to a whole nother level. I am so excited he's on this call because I don't know anybody that presents this information the way he does. But a lot of people are busy and they're going to be able to relate to this gentleman. In a very short time, he made it to the position of national director, which is a very prestigious position in 5 Links. And he is like a snippet away from being senior vice president. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the call and have our amazing guest speaker, Darryl Royster. Darryl, I'm turning the call over to you.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for inviting me to this call tonight. I appreciate every time and every chance that I get an opportunity to talk to a professional group of people as we have on the call tonight. I really appreciate that. So thank you, Wendy, for inviting me, as well as thank you, Karen, for hosting these calls. I've heard a lot about you, so thank you for hosting the calls. I know it's difficult some nights with technology. It doesn't always work right, so appreciate you doing that for us tonight. So good evening to all of our guests, our GaREIA real estate group. I want to say good evening to you. I was invited to this call this evening because I just wanted to give you a snapshot about our business and how it can be a benefit to you. But before I get started, I think it's important that you know a little bit about me, just a snapshot about myself and the advantage that I can bring to the team, okay, to your team specifically. So I have a background. Wendy mentioned, and I was very busy. I have a corporate lifestyle, at least I had one. 15 years I lived that way. I have tons of experience in management, regional management, district management. So I have years of experience working with people, customer care, retail, the whole gambit. And make no mistake about it, this is the people business. These types of businesses, they're people businesses. You have to deal with the public. So I got really good at dealing with the public and dealing with issues and so forth. So I was really a busy person, you might say. I always worked. I call myself a workaholic. I worked 12, 13-hour days every day, 8 days a week. And nobody ever gets that little joke there, but that's what it feels like. You may be able to relate. Some of you on the call tonight, if you're very busy people, you can relate to working 8 days a week because that's really what it feels like. So when I got started in this industry that Wendy referred to, that of network marketing or MLM, I did so because I didn't have the time. What I realized 3 years ago was as I got older and I lost that drive and that energy to just be working all the time, I kind of lost that. if I didn't change something in my life, if I didn't change some of my habits, and more importantly, if I didn't change and add some new systems to my lifestyle, I would never gain the wealth that I sought after when I started working a job to begin with. So 3 years later, I have now a time and money balance, a money and time balance, thanks to Wendy and this fabulous company of 5 Links that I came across, this 5 Links marketing opportunity. So 3 years later, 34 years old, I'm retired from the job market. I love life. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. And like I said, I have a time and money balance. But now how can that help you? That's why I was invited to the call tonight. So how does that help a real estate investment group or a realtor like yourself? Well, first of all, 5 Links is going to provide you with an automated website. Wendy just talked about that. It's an automated website. So it's going to help change you from a busy scheduled person to a productive scheduled person. What do I mean by that? Well, the website is automated. It does all of the work for you. In addition to this, it can add value to your portfolio. 5 Links can add value to your portfolio, not only for your clients as a benefit for them as a la carte type system, but it can also add to your income. Here's how. We have select services that every time someone moves into their new home, every time you're dealing with a transaction to a home, new, existing, under contract or not, you can be gaining revenue from that home. How does that sound? Well, you might be asking, well, Daryl, how do I do that? Well, we have select services such as security services, internet services, television, and many, many more that can be added to that purchase of that home each time. So what that does is it creates another residual passive stream of income for you for every home that you're dealing with. Again, whether it's under contract or not, because there's always going to be people in that home. So whether you have houses now, I heard there's some powerhouse people on the call tonight. You guys are dealing with hundreds of properties. So whether it's existing properties that you have now or future properties, we can create a residual stream, passive stream of income with our automated system and website. You don't really have to necessarily touch it, but it's going to add value to your portfolio. And it'll be a nice little customer service thing that you can add when a client moves into a home, that you hook up all the services for them as well. So with that being said, I don't want to take up a lot of time. I am available for any questions, perhaps. I don't know if Wendy's going to open the call up for that tonight, but I want to just say thanks again to Karen for hosting the call and Wendy for inviting me. I hope someone got a little bit of information out of this call tonight, and I want to turn the call back over to you, Wendy. Thank you.
And thank you, Daryl. We are going to open up the call for questions, but I want you guys to hear what Daryl said. This is an addition. You're adding this. It's not going to be more work, but let's say you have a tenant moving in, or you have a property that you're getting ready to close, or your own property you live in. If instead of the end of the month you're figuring out how to pay the bills, but you could get them a little less expensive and or get paid because you're helping other people do the same thing, that'll be great. Well, this Monday at 7 p.m. at the Tilly office, the GaREIA headquarters, Daryl Royster, along with Executive Director Edward Warren, are going to be coming all the way from Columbus, Georgia, to come and share this information. And I specifically asked the two of them because they just know how to break down this information. And they are two people that a couple of years ago knew nothing about this, and now it's really changed their business. And I don't say that lightly. I am not the type of person that's going to say something that is not true. And when you get to know me, you will see I'm very transparent. So I definitely want you to understand, we're not saying now go do multi-level marketing and stop real estate investing. No, we're saying continue your real estate investing. This is a system you're adding that's going to give you some passive cash flow once you set it up. Okay, you're going to be talking wholesaling. You're going to be talking flips and buying and holding, especially if you're a landlord. This is so great. And I know because I've put it to work myself. So with that being said, I really want to thank you guys for being on this call. We're going to unmute And please do not be afraid to ask whatever questions you may have, because, again, Darryl Royster really is so documented in 5 links now. He could be anywhere, and I really appreciate the fact that he made himself available to do the call tonight. So with that being said, Executive Director Karen Yap, if you can go ahead and unmute us, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Karen. Okay, guys, does anybody have a question on anything you heard on tonight's call, your website, your email list, multi-level marketing, anything you heard on tonight's call? Don't do like you did last week. Nobody asked a question, and then I got texts and emails with the questions there.
So, Wendy, this is Rob Gardner here. I guess for your average business, or how many websites should you be looking to have?
For your average business, in what sense? As a real estate investor?
Yes.
Well, I always say start with one and work it correctly, and then as it takes on, other legs, then you add another one. But you don't want to have 2, 3, 4 websites and you're not really putting good information out there, or you don't have a strong enough following that they go to all your websites. So I would say start with one. The great thing is, I know you're coming out on Monday, and with like Darryl said, with 5 links, you get a website that's already completely set up for you. But when you're a real estate investor, you're going to be putting together that website, and you don't want to kind of like, try, whatever budget you have, you don't want to use that budget trying to get quantity instead of quality. So I would say start with your first one, get it completely automated, and then go on to another. Now, if you speak to somebody else, I know some mentors who will say, well, why not have a lot of different websites and just put 2 or 3 pages? That's just not my philosophy. So did I answer your question, Robert?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and I appreciate that. Anybody else on the call with a question or comment? And I want to thank Robert for being the first one to ask a question tonight. Okay, guys, we're going to, if I'm not getting any questions, Darryl, at this point, then I would like to say, is there anything you wanted to add? All I would like to say to everybody is Monday night at 7 p.m., we will be at the headquarters sharing this information. We will not be forcing you to sign anything. We're sharing information, and if it sounds good to you, you'll get started, and you are supporting GaREIA by coming out. So I really hope you take advantage of getting the information. There's nothing like making an informed decision as opposed to just saying, well, no, I'm only, I'm not even going to get the information. So Darryl, is there anything you wanted to add?
I just look forward to meeting all of you professional people on Monday evening, networking with you and forging new relationships and expanding life. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Well, we really appreciate having spent the evening with everybody that's on the call. And if there's any, hello?
Hey, Wendy, this is Rob again. I got a quick question for Darryl.
Sure.
Hey, Darryl, at what point did you realize that you can make, you can accomplish what you've accomplished so far?
It took me about 2 years to realize it. The first year I played with the business because I had one of those good jobs, quote unquote. So I played with the business my first year. The second year I took it seriously. I realized the income potential. I began treating it like a business, organizing it like a business, and really running it like a business. And so now in my going into my 4th year, like I said, I'm retired, 34 years old. And I can do things like be in Atlanta Monday with no problem. I can go anywhere I want to go. I'll be in New Jersey, as a matter of fact, later on in May at an event. It's something I would never even think about doing while I was in that workforce in the corporate community. So it took me about 2 years to realize it.
Okay.
But I'd like to add something, Darryl, if you don't mind, to
Sure.
what Robert just asked. One thing I can say, Robert, is I worked closely with Darryl, and he, in less than 7 days, I'd say less than 10 days, he tripled his investment. And that was while he had a good job living at Men's Warehouse, but he put a system in place, and he followed it, and he made money right away. But like he said, he didn't lose any money in the beginning. He tripled his investment, but he didn't get to the point where he said, okay, I'm making enough to retire until later on. So is that the truth, Darryl?
Yes, that answers the question. I don't like to talk about myself, so I appreciate you adding that in there. But I did triple my investment. I earned $1,000 in about 2 weeks' time, as Wendy just stated, and that added, to the trust factor of the company and the belief. But as you just stated, it took about 2 years to create enough income to where I could walk away from a job and not feel bad about it. Absolutely.
So thank you again, Robert, for you asked some great questions tonight. I know, as I said before, I sometimes get texts and emails, or people will question me when they see me at GaREIA, and sometimes we gave enough content where people feel comfortable with the information that they got. And I really encourage you to come out on Monday night. The best way to get the information for yourself is to get it live, the full presentation, and know that we're in the building of GaREIA, so we are supporting GaREIA. GaREIA is not saying that everything we bring to the table, they're saying for you to go ahead and sign and this and that. What they are saying is get the information, and if it makes sense to you, then you proceed. If it doesn't, then that's not a problem either, but our goal is to share this information. And then on May the 3rd, if you want to get more about marketing your real estate investing business, you want to come out to that. I really encourage you to go to the GaREIA website and look at this information, because if you sign up online, it's a lot less expensive than coming to the door either on Monday or on May the 3rd. It's going to be more cost effective for you to sign up online. And when we bring this information to everybody, the things you support, tell us these are the things that you really want to get more information on, so we'll keep bringing them. It's very hard to run a business if you don't really believe in marketing, so I really encourage you to come out and do that. And in any business, you want to look for streams of income. Even in your real estate business, you got into real estate because you were looking for a stream of income. So if Robert Kiyosaki, Donald Trump, and so many other organizations are saying this makes sense, come out and get the information for yourself. So again, I want to thank you for sharing this evening with us. I really want to give it back to Executive Director Karen Yap. And I want to give it back to our guest presenter tonight, Darryl Royster. If you missed the call, it will be available on YouTube, and we will have a replay. Make sure you connect and we have your emails, and you will continue getting the information. So with that being said, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday night. Talk to you later. Good night.